So I wanted to take a few minutes and show you some information about the PLTW Store so that as you are getting ready to order supplies and do other tasks in there, that you got a little bit of direction on how you can effectively work with that resource. So you can see I have logged on to mypltw.org and got my password in there and am successfully logged in. So I'm going to come up and select the store icon at this point. And it brings us into the main store page or screen. There are two buttons here that we want to take note of: Get Started and Additional Resources. And there's a few things that I want to do with both of those. We're going to primarily work in the Get Started area, but I'll come back a little bit later and touch base on a couple of things in additional resources. So let's say that you're at a point where you need to order supplies for your program or reorder supplies if it's down the road a little ways. So you can click on Get Started to perform that task. You want to be sure that you have your school noted here. If you got more than one school, the little drop down will note everyone that you're a part of. You select that school, and then you can choose to build a list. Once you get in here, then you're going to go through a series of steps to kind of narrow down the options that are available for you. Typically, I'm going to pick PLTW Gateway, and then the course that I'm interested in. So if I am getting materials for my design and modeling class, I'll check that option. I could go and check any other units that I'm teaching as well to make a larger order if I wish, but I'm just going to stick with design and modeling for right now. Got to make a couple of options here. If you're a brand new unit, if you are just beginning to teach this unit, you may want to leave it on new unit right here, and then put in the number of total students that you're going to be servicing for the period of time that you're ordering these supplies for. Full sets per classroom, you can select that, or sets are going to be shared across classrooms. That's usually what I would choose. That way I don't get repeats of items that can be shared and used over and over and over as one class goes out and the next class goes in. So that goes pretty readily there if that's what I want. Let's say that I've got maybe 60 students that I need to purchase for. So I can come at the bottom and choose Next to customize my list. Oh, and it's wanting another piece of information right there. Let's say that I have 30 students in my largest class. And it'll go ahead and then process that. And as you can see here, since it's assuming that I am starting design and modeling brand new, it's going to check every item in the list for me there. Now at this point, what I can do is just come down through here and unselect items that I might already have, like a digital camera. If I don't want to order that, I can uncheck that. Let's say that I already have my safety glasses, so I can uncheck that. Scissors, we're already set in good shape for that. We don't need an SD card, and we go ahead there. So I can go through and do that. Another item that you may want to take note of is the PLTW Gateway notebooks. 30 of those is $99. Now that has always been an issue for my program. That's kind of pricey for the budget that I receive. So I typically would take that one off. And then you can also look at each one of these, and you can individually change the numbers. Like if I need more cutting mats than 3, let's say I'm going to go up to 6 of those, I can put that in there, and PLTW will go ahead and adjust my list. So if I've taken care of what I need to and my list looks good and I'm in good shape there with that and everything, then I can sort of finalize that. One of the things you might want to take note of is over here, item type. You can even further filter out what's shown to you. If you just want to look at durable materials, you could uncheck consumable and refill kits, and otherwise there, go ahead as you are looking for items there. So use your best judgment on that one. And then I'm going to go ahead at this point and do a list summary. I would want to name that example for demo video. So it'll actually save that list, continue, and let's say that at this point I look and I see, okay, that's a little bit over $1,600, and maybe I'm okay with that. Maybe I'll look and I say, oh, I'm going to have to pare that down. So whatever I do, I can go back into that list. I can choose to save it and return it later. I can download a product list by vendor and generate a quote and so on there. So there's several things that I can do at this point, or I could go straight to purchasing it. Now, generally what I would have to do is take my list. I would have to go to my bookkeeper, get a purchase order, get that in hand, and then I would come back and finalize this. So I'm going to choose to save and return later. So once I do that, it brings me back to the main store page. So let's say that I've done all my behind the scenes work. I've got my purchase order, I've got approval, everything's in good shape. I can choose get started my next session. I can go to my saved list right here and then open the one that I just created. And there are all those items that I had checked and everything's in good shape. I could do my list summary. And the name's already on that, so I've got that in good shape. I'll continue. And let's say that I go ahead and choose to purchase my store items right there. Only items available in my PLTW store will be added to the cart. And they ask for you to allow up to 4 weeks for delivery. Let me go ahead and continue that. So there is my shopping cart that's been generated. I could proceed to check out. And this is where I can provide information, my billing address, organization, the address, pretty standard stuff, shipping information, payment option you want to look at. Going to use a credit card. I'm not going to do that. I will be using my purchase order, and once I select that, it's going to ask me for the number and upload a file. I would probably scan my purchase order and upload that so that they can actually see the form that I'm working with there, and then I could go ahead, review the order, and finish it. So that is pretty straightforward at that point there. I think most folks can handle that. If you're used to doing any kind of online ordering at all. So I'm going to kind of hold up there, and what I would like to do is get back to the main store page. So this may be just about as easy for me to go all the way back to my beginning, come back into store here again. And one of the things that I want to show you in the store, there are some additional resources that are made available to you. And sometimes I wonder why they've been placed in store, because some of them sort of relate, and then some of them it seems like maybe they don't quite relate there. So anyway, this is where PLTW has chosen to place those. But I've got store resources, and then I've got all kinds of general resources, like if I want to see what's available for the gateway, I can click that. And you'll notice down in the bottom there, I actually get a PDF that's downloaded with that information. And it'll actually give me some background and some other information related to my computer specs, Android tablet specs, Chromebook specs, and so on there, which can be pretty handy for me. So that's a neat resource. Looking on down through there, there is information in here. If you've got to set PLTW up as a vendor, there's some resources that you'll need to get to your bookkeeper and that sort of thing in here. 3D printer matrix gives some basic information if I'm looking for that resource to purchase, and so on there. As I scan on down in bill of materials, there's quite a number because there's one for every program. When I get down into Gateway, then I can see there What they give me at this point that might be helpful is the design and modeling refill kit. So if I have already ordered my supplies and I've used those up and I need to re-augment those, there's a list of what comes in the design and modeling kit when I order that. So they give me that resource there, so I can see if there are other items I need to purchase, but I know that this is what I'm going to get in the refill kit. The other thing that I would take note of as being helpful, there is a Gateway Engineering notebook format. So if you think the price for the Gateway notebooks in the store is a little bit expensive, Project Lead the Way actually will give you a format that you can use to print your own and bind it. If you've got that capability within your school system, within your district, a print shop or something like that, you could actually take this resource and come up with your own Gateway notebook there. So that is pretty helpful at that point there. So I wanted you to be sure you saw that. And then there are other items down through there that might be helpful as well. I'm not going to go through every one of those, but the additional resources has some items in there that from time to time it's going to help you out. So there is a really quick look at the PLTW store. I hope this short video is helpful to you. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact your master teachers through the community or by email. And we look forward to working with you. Have a great day.